Well, hey everybody, John Rithlin here, and this is a retro review of the WWE title picture in 1999, which was a goddamn mess. It was such a motherfucking mess. It was so goddamn ridiculous. I mean, it was amazing watching the title passed around all that much. Even back when I was 18 in 1999 watching this, I hated how much the title got passed around. I was used to at least decently long title reigns. Now I get it. The Monday Night Wars was all about hot-shotting. WCW, WWE were in a ratings war. And even in the very beginning of this year, they were still in a ratings war. But by later in 99, WWE had well pulled ahead. And even with all the bad shit that they done, the bad gimmicks, Beaver, Cleavage, the Stooges, the corporate ministry, Boss Man being hung, the Candle from Hell match, a whole bunch of other stuff. My God, the WWE title, though, was passed around more than Sonny and Sable were backstage. It was just absolutely frightening. But taking a look at this pic, taking a look at, the reigns and everything, and taking a look at where it began in the year and where it ended, it's just amazing seeing how many title changes there were. Now, it wasn't as bad as the WCW title in 2000, sweet Christ, that was passed around so goddamn much. It was just motherfucking frightening. But let's just start off with these title reigns. We'll go in, I'll dissect it a little bit, but I'm probably not going to go into way too much detail, but I'm going to give you an idea of just how often it was passed around. So, we start off with the title change that technically took place December 29th, 1998, since it was on tape delay. They had taped it, and because they didn't want to... WWE was still doing, like, dual tapings and stuff like that to save costs, but also it was around the holidays. So, they had Mankind versus The Rock, no DQ match and everything, and this is where Mankind had, forced his way in to a match where he was gonna break Shane's arm if Vince didn't give him a title shot. And well, the bottom line is Mankind ended up winning the match. Just when Austin interfered. Corporation and DX were all fighting outside. Austin came in, hit Rock with the chair, put Mankind on the Rock, and the crowd, even though it was the crowd went absolutely insane when Foley won. I mean, they went absolutely batshit insane. It makes sense because Foley had grown up as a fan favorite and everything in their eyes. Even though he'd been wrestling for years, a lot of smart fans knew that. And it was great to see Foley finally get the championship that he deserved. Now, this was on tape delay, mind you. This has been taped a week before, or almost a week before. WCW had a live Nitro hyping up Hogan's return. It was going to be Hogan versus Nash. They did this whole bullshit with Goldberg and Miss Elizabeth pressing charges against Goldberg because Goldberg was stalking her and this kind of stuff. And I'll put a review of, I'll put like a playlist rather of the old school wrestling reviews that I've done. And that'll have the Raw Nitro comparison piece, and you can check out some more rants that I did on that stuff. But the bottom line is with this, it was a taped Raw against a live Nitro. WCW, even though WWE had been beating them in the ratings since the Raw Nitro after Halloween Havoc, when they had to show DDP and Goldberg on free TV because the pay-per-view got cut off. After that, WWE, easy for me to say, was beating WCW, but it was still close. Here you're thinking, okay, they're hyping Hogan's return, Nash, all that stuff. What's going to happen? Okay, so Foley wins the title. They spoil it, saying, oh, it's on tape delay. And Tony Schiavone, not knocking Tony. Tony was just fed something in his ear, whoever the hell told him to say it, not knocking Tony Schiavone. So if anybody somehow thinks I'm going to, no, I'm not going to. But he says, I'll put some butts in the seats. Ugh. And he, kept downplaying it and all that stuff. It was what Schiavone was told to do. Anyway, a bunch of people were like, wait, Foley won the title? We like Foley. Click. And just, WWE got just a huge swell of ratings. Where before ratings, before like giving away results was one thing, but it bit WCW in the ass. Because this time, WWE with a taped Raw beat a live Nitro. And yeah, Nitro won the overrun because Nitro had the overrun. But they countered by having Nash versus Hogan, huge pyro, everything, all this stuff. And Hogan's dressed in like a muscle shirt and pants, and black pants and stuff like that. It's not even like in his tights, black pants, like jeans. They do this thing, big old thing, Nash does this. They do the finger poke at Doom. Poke, Nash falls down, Hogan pins him 1, 2, 3. And then people say, it was like the, European Championship thing to Triple H, and Shawn Michaels didn't know it fucking wasn't. But then Goldberg runs down, they beat up Goldberg and everything, this kind of stuff. I mean, Goldberg beats some people up, and then Luger joins the new NWO, and they spray paint Goldberg, and people were throwing trash in the ring. But the problem is from there it was a steady decline by WCW. The sold out 99 crowd was really fucking pissed off. They were fucking livid. Fans were mad, and more people just went to WWE, even though WWE wasn't perfect. Even I think ECW got some good ratings out, you know, some better ratings, like after people got pissed off at WCW. Now, it wasn't all like, you know, just like a bed of thorns or something like that. WCW still got ratings, and they still got some stuff, but they weren't able to ever recapture anything. I'm not saying that WCW would have beaten WWE again. Had the Finger Poke of Doom not happened, it would have been a lot more competitive. And in fact, I would argue that WCW would have probably been able to keep going for another 6 months until sometime in the summer when they just gave up. But with this title reign, you know, Foley wins it, big ovation and everything. And since it was on tape delay, I mean, it lasted about 20 days. It lasted 20 days. I mean, technically 26 if you want to count the tape delay, but, you know, 20 days. Okay. So it's this feud going with The Rock. So we go to the Royal Rumble 1999. The bottom line is WCW shot themselves in the foot. And even with the bad pay-per-view like 99 Rumble, WCW just couldn't recover. Then we get to the 24th of January, and it's the I Quit match and everything, all the chair shots, all this brutal shit. My God, it was freaking brutal. Ow, it hurt a lot watching Foley get that. They do the piped-in audio. Foley quits, and Rock is declared the champion. And wearing a baggy shirt that had nothing to do with him getting breast reduction surgery due to steroid use. Nothing to do with it at all. It had everything to do with it. I'm not saying Rock was the only person to do steroids, but come on. Wasn't a very good job hiding it. So he wins championship. Okay. Then they do halftime heat. They tape it a couple days later and then show it there in the Super Bowl a week later, you know, a week after the Rumble. So technically, if you count the fact that it took place 7 days later, Mankind beats Rock in the empty arena match. They even put Sacco in the oven. That was pretty funny and everything. And since it was on tape delay, again, Mankind wins. He holds it for another 20 days. That's the funniest thing about Foley's reigns is people say Foley's a 3-time WWE champion and never even held it for 3 goddamn weeks. I mean, well, except technically his first reign was almost 4 weeks. But still, the bottom line is he even hold a month. And so again, now you got Mankind and The Rock, then Mankind wins the title again. And then after the dispute finished in the Last Man Standing match at St. Valentine's Day Massacre 99, Rock beats Mick Foley in a ladder match on Raw the next day, and then ends up holding it for 41 days. A pretty good ladder match, by the way, all things considered. So yeah, 41 days. Rock's holding it for 41 days. They build up this whole thing with Austin and The Rock for Mania 15, and Stone Cold ends up beating The Rock despite all the goofiness and all the interference and all that. Mick Foley, you know, or Mankind is the referee, 1, 2, 3, because he got beat up by Big Show earlier, but of course he made the, he would end up factoring into the pin. Of course he would end up factoring into the pin because he's Mick Foley. I still don't know how Mick Foley's still alive after all the shit he took, but Stone Cold wins the title. Ends up holding it for the longest reign of the year, 56 days. Think about that. The longest reign with the WWE title, the most prestigious title in the company, was less than 2 months. And you wonder why sometimes I look back on the Attitude Era as being, at times, kind of shit. This is the big reason why. I'm not saying every title reign needs to be 700 plus days like Okada's or 2,000 whatever the fuck days it is like Bruno's, or 1,000 days like Pedro's, or something like that, or even, you know, 1,000 whatever days like Hogan's, like 1,200 some day. The whole point is, or even 434 like Punk's, or 371 like Savage, or you know, Hogan's second reign, or Bret Hart's like 1994 run, 7 months. But the whole point is, when you're not even going to let your champion hold it for 2 goddamn solid months, that's ridiculous. So, you know, Stone Cold had the rematch with The Rock, a Backlash, ends that, and then ends that feud. Rock turns babyface. We then have Austin versus Undertaker at Over the Edge, the 23rd of May, which is, of course, the event where, you know, the infamous event where Owen Hart tragically passed away because of a horrible accident. And yes, I do not care for Vince Russo. I, however, hate the people that say he caused Owens' death. It was an accident. As much as I don't like Russo, he is not that kind of malicious person. He's an idiot when it comes to wrestling, but he is not a fucking killer. He's not that. So let's stop with that bullshit. There's a lot of things you can blame Russo for that are actual stuff like that instead of that. And this is me wearing a Cornette t-shirt, by the way. And yes, I'm a, card-carrying member of the Cult of Cornette, but I will not hear people say that Russo did that. So, just putting that out there. I put that out there in other videos, but I thought I'd put that out here. But anyway, so The Undertaker ends up winning. I think it was like Vince and Shane were the special guest referees. It was freaking rotten. And Undertaker wins the title, so he holds it for 36 days. And then Austin, after getting, let's see. No, they ended up having a first blood match later. He ends up beating Undertaker on the 28th of June on that Raw, and Austin ends up holding it again for 55 days. Feuds with The Undertaker, gets Vince McMahon out of the company with the whole first blood match. Taker basically says, okay, I want your blood. Vince is like, it's like, okay, if Taker can't win, I will quit the company. Okay, fine, why the fuck not? But anyway, so yeah, Austin with the 2 longest title reigns of the year, 56 and 55 days respectively. Holds it till SummerSlam. It was supposed to be Triple H versus Austin, and Mankind wasn't supposed to be factored in. Austin didn't want to lose to Triple H. Okay, whatever. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Triple H, but that was a little weird. Anyway, so Mankind gets slotted in there. Mankind gets the victory. And then Austin ends up kind of taking a bit more of a minor role because he's dealing with neck issues. Mankind holds the title for literally 1 goddamn day, loses it to Triple H on Raw, and then Triple H holds it for 24 days until Vince McMahon, yes, Vince McMahon of all people, wins the title in an overbooked as fuck match. Austin runs out there, Vince is bleeding like crazy. Austin helps Shane count, and Vince McMahon gains the title. I mean, it was the idea that it was Triple H, and Triple H was goading Vince McMahon and everything, saying, oh, you didn't want me to be champion, this kind of stuff and whatever. And that happened, and Vince McMahon ends up winning the title, then ends up vacating it a little bit later on the next Raw. So that's the vacated title reign, and then we get to Triple H winning the title in the 6-pack challenge, where Austin was the special guest enforcer, but it was like Rock, Mankind, I want to say Big Show was in there, Bulldog was in there. So it was Triple H, Bulldog, Big Show, Rock, Mankind. I don't remember who the fuck else was in there. Yeah, just that happened. And Triple H held it for 49 goddamn days. 49 motherfucking days. I mean, it was what it was. He faced Austin, I want to say, at No Mercy. It wasn't bad, and then they were going to actually have Austin, Rock, and Triple H at Survivor Series 99, except they weren't because Austin couldn't be medically clear because he needed motherfucking neck surgery because of what happened at SummerSlam 97, and it wasn't Owens' fault, it was just an accident, but yeah, Owen Hart's fault, I mean, but that happened, so Austin ends up getting taken out, later to be revealed by Rikishi for The Rock, for the people. Big Show gets slotted in there. Big Show, who had just had the whole thing going on with Boss Man and the whole thing with the casket and stuff like that. No way to have Big Show have closure with his dad's death years before. Tasteless angle, but it was what it was. Big Show wins the title. And so McMahon comes down because the referee's down, counts it and everything, and flips off Triple H. Big Show is the new champion. He is the last champion of that year. Now, if we go to Raw January 3rd of 2000, Triple H wins the title back. So literally within a year, we had, Mankind, Rock, Undertaker, Stone Cold, Triple H. Yeah, we had that many, Vince. We had that many people. We had that many people as champion. Like, it was like 6, 7. It was just ridiculous. I mean, that many different people holding the championship. And again, and Big Show's reign ended up being 50 days. I mean, he ended up having it just under what Triple H's reign was because the year ended just before Big Show's reign ended. And it was just fucking brutal. It's like watching all this hot shine and stuff like that. That's why when people say, "Oh, you knock the older stuff or whatever," or you praise some of the older stuff, but you knock the Attitude Era, when it led to some of the biggest ratings. Yes, but it also led to the downfall of once people got used to hotshotting and hotshotting stopped happening, then people started to realize, oh, wait a second, everybody's kind of the same. Because once Austin Rock and other people went by the wayside, basically left, yes, there were other people that stepped up and everything, but it wasn't the same. And the championship picture, it wasn't just the championship picture there and for the WWE title. It was for the Intercontinental title, the European title, the tag titles. It was just brutal. I mean, the women's title, let's not even get into the women's title. Sable being champion. Fucking Christ, that was ridiculous. But yes, the WWE title picture at that point was fucking brutal. Now, once it got to 2000, there was a little bit more stability, but it wasn't great. But anyway, that's what I have to say. So yeah, that's the entire timeline of the WWE title in 1999. Are there things I missed? Sure, why not? But that's the highlights. So what do you think? What do you think of the WWE title picture in 1999? Let me know your favorite moments, least favorite moments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I will see you soon.